Hey guys, and today we're playing the Stanley Parable. That's right, you are playing the Stanley Parable. Begin game, why don't you? Loading. After watching Call Me Kevin's video on it, I wanted to play it myself, so I got it.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day, every month, of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
I'm uploading.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong.
That's because I'm
Shocked,
here, baby.
frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh yeah, this one's
All of his
perfect. I'm
co-workers
so
were gone.
happy.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What's over here? Let's check 420. Damn it. 420 ain't got nothing in there. Okay, nothing in there. Go back and look. Alright. Click on every door. 430. 429.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Oh, wait, is it... Okay, it's not 1111 like Joker.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Oh.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
Yes.
Stanley simply stood, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay, I'll do what you said.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Alright, I'll do what you say.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
What did that say? I need to know. I haven't got a job yet. I had to solve a dispute with a coworker. They did ball up inside you, take it out, but no! Using slide to assure employees that everything is okay. That's the same thing about school too. Broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
This one next door, man.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, I'll do what you say. Door does nothing.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, Unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
No, you told me what it was.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ooh. Oh. So there was like a dead body there. It run well, but oh, that's my MacBook making that noise. Kind of like the PlayStation when I'm playing a game on it.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Okay, I'll go back. Since you said that, I'll go back.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Too much to live for. Light.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Okay.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Probably.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Maybe.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine.
Yeah.
Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, He realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way,
beautiful.
right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Oh, that was beautiful. Play it again, this time on my own rules. Oh, you start me
All
off.
of his co-workers were gone. What
Oh,
could
that's
it
cool.
mean?
It just starts you off back
Stanley
here. Okay.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I ain't gonna do what he says this time.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope. I'm going my way.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Shut up. Come on.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
No, I did it your
I'm
way
not your
first.
enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been... What? Really?
Yes.
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why,
No, I know you don't, but I just want to do it my way this time,
but
dude.
I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful.
Alright.
Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
Okay.
Give me a chance.
Alright.
Now listen carefully, this is important.
Alright.
Stanley walked through the red door. Aha!
Okay.
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
I just put it there anyway.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
Well,
Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far.
boobs.
Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option.
Oh.
This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices?
You know
Feel
what?
free to be honest.
I like
I'm
to be
looking for some
honest.
real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Okay. Oh. The Stanley Parable worldwide leaderboard. Was the good O'Neill, Nicole Nacho. Are these real people? Okay, alright, okay. So I'm just gonna go to this door again.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
It went too fast.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working
I put a 1
on. And now
and
would
hey,
be
wait
a
a minute.
lovely opportunity to give it some play testing. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
No, I would
Perfect.
not.
Let me boot it up.
Man, this game works well. Man, it does make the thing go hot
In this
though.
game, the baby crawls left towards danger.
Oh,
You click the button to move him back to the right.
Oh, the
And if he reaches the
proportions are
fire, you fail.
even
It's
better.
a very meaningful game. All about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life.
Okay.
I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So
4
why don't you
hours?
give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Okay.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite
Well, I
me?
didn't pass
Because
trial
if it's the latter,
development,
well, I
so
don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for you. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done.
wait.
It's over.
No, wait.
Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Okay, alright. Where we going? Where we going? What world are we going to, man? Minecraft.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it.
Looks like my first
Gaze
house.
upon my work of
When
art
I
and
made
feel
my first
ashamed
Minecraft
at your
video.
own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
I wish I could. It's too square.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes.
Okay.
Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Yes, let's go mining. Okay. Let's go.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5.
What?
Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
What you talking about Minecraft for, baby? Minecraft is big. Well, starting January, it ain't gonna be so big. Okay, what game are you at?
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love
it Portal?
it.
Cup.
You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
What? I think this is Portal. I think. I don't know where I'm going.
puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Is this how Portal is? We'll get bonked on the head. Damn it. Come on. Damn it. Come on. What? Charge it. Or not. Oh yeah, I can just pick it up.
Genius.
Yes.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the
Okay. Yeah, we don't go that way. Go. Narrator. I don't know where I have to go. Please help. Light. I have a tunnel. Means a lot of funnel. What? Okay, I guess that's nothing. Maybe it is. Or not, okay.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it.
Oh.
Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Okay, I think I'm done for right now. I like this. I love this. This was fun. Alright, quit to game menu. Quit. There. Well, guys, I hope you liked this video. That was fun. If you want more Stanley Parable, like the video. Hope you guys like the video. Subscribe. See you guys in the video, and goodbye.